and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 117 of the Seezus Show. It's been a while. I know, guys. It's been a very, very long time. Actually, the last time I actually had an episode that was available on streaming platforms, and I'm talking about Spotify. I'm also talking about Apple. Was November 10th of 2021. A lot of things have kind of just shifted a little bit. Obviously, my co-host was based out of the East Coast. We had a little falling out. He had to do some pledging stuff and whatnot. So timing just wasn't right, and also had some technical issues with the computer and whatnot. But I was still able to give you guys some stellar content. It wasn't real episodes, but it was kind of like one-off. So picture if I had a Patreon, right? So like you got that one-off for the free. And I was just producing that fire 100% of the time as well too. So this is season 2, officially season 2. I'm happy that you guys have stayed loyal. I'm happy to get into some great content. We have some great guests that are lined up for this season. Some merch is on the way. Just be patient with that. So it's just going up from here as well too. So shout out to my old co-host Trey. Love you. Pull up over here. We're gonna figure some things out as well too. But I'm just ready and I'm excited to get into this new season. Obviously it's the off season, but we got some stuff to kind of talk about. So this guest right here is an entrepreneur, is a sneakerhead. He's from Houston, Texas, but he sounds like he's from the Bay Area as well too. And he's just a dope ass dude. I actually met this guy when I was in line in LA at Ice Cream Sundays at Lock and Key, and we just clicked from there on out. But I support black excellence, and I support this guy as well too. So my first guest for season 2, episode 117, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Terrence Whaley.
Yes.
Let's get it. Terrence Whaley, what is up with you, boy?
What up? Appreciate you, Seezus. Appreciate you for having me on, man. I'm extremely proud of you, first of all, man. So thank you for having me on as a guest.
Nah, I'm excited. I'm excited too. It's just dope. We have these little meetings where we just essentially just talk about thoughts in our head and we manifest it into something that's real. So it's pretty dope and surreal to actually have you here as well too. Shout out to Peyton as well too, who's out here doing some stuff behind the scenes as well. My dog as well. But I'm excited because a lot of people don't know about some things that you do. Mm-hmm. So like I said, Terrence is an entrepreneur. He has this app called Barterr. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when I first thought about barter, I was like, "Are we talking about like the 1600s when we were just like bartering some motherfucking tree for some fucking food or whatever?" But he got Barterr. It's been out for a little bit as well too. So tell the guests, what is Barterr, Terrence?
All right, cool. So appreciate first of all the amazing intro. I actually go back in the story a little bit because we didn't start day one being named Barterr. Oh wow! So we started off being named Soul 360, and basically what Soul 360 was a website that I created from scratch because I'm a software engineer in my full-time job. Basically started a website from scratch where people could trade sneakers online, and I realized essentially like you said, I'm a sneakerhead. Like I was trying to see what is in the sneaker game that's missing essentially. And as I was coming up in the game, following my brother and kind of seeing what sneaker culture was like online, I would see people being on Facebook groups trading sneakers, but it was only possible because it was some physical, you were close to somebody that you could actually go meet up with and trade. And I was like, well, damn, everybody's doing buying and selling, and that's so easy. But why can't people trade sneakers so easily? And I didn't see anything on the internet like that. So I was like, yo, I can build this shit from scratch and get to it and see if people are interested in it. And at the time, it grew to over 1,000 users pretty fast. I would say within 3 months.
That's as fuck.
And what those users were telling me that they wanted was an app, essentially, and I knew I needed an app to be able to compete with the bigger, audiences or the bigger platforms. And essentially what I did was I took that time to go from the website to the app and rebrand as well, because ultimately, even though right now we're only in sneakers, we definitely want to expand into other alternative asset classes. But right now it's sneakers, and that's why we changed the name from Soul 360 to Barterr, so we could be a little bit more ambiguous with the brand name.
That's pretty fire. That's pretty fire.
Yeah.
So were you always into sneakers growing up? Like what even got you into sneakers in general?
Yeah. So I would say, man, the light bulb switched on for me at like 13. Like, okay, so it was a summer. I actually went to go visit my brother and my mom because my parents are divorced. But when I would go see them in the summer, like I would always get like put on game with like what my older brother was doing. Cause like if you're not living with your older brother, like, and you go see him, you know, maybe once or twice a year, you trying to tap into what's new, you know what I mean, or like what he's into, so I can come up and like show my friends what I'm on. And like I started realizing that my brother was kind of collecting sneakers. He had like this closet of like 70 or 80 shoes, and I was like, yo, you can wear more than 2 or 3, 4 pairs at a time. And I was like, yo, like put me on. Like I was just like trying to notice like how he was going about figuring out what was interesting to him. And just being a little brother in the family, like I wanted to be like big bro. So that was like when I really tapped in and like started getting serious about my collection.
That's crazy, yeah. I've been aware of sneakers, but I don't think I really like seriously got into sneakers until I got to like early stages of high school and whatnot. Because I remember like while my parents were still together, my parents are divorced as well too. I went to uniform school in like middle school.
Yes,
and we had to get either one pair of sneakers or we had two, but they had to be solid colors.
And y'all had the khakis. Y'all had the khakis.
We had the khakis, the black or the navy blue. So we only had.
I already know what you're talking about.
White Air Forces or the black Air Forces.
Yep, them G Fazos.
I might have some little sprinkling sneakers and whatnot as well too. But to kind of harp on that, my mom's side of the family, who when they relocated from Liberia, they relocated to the Northeast in Providence, Rhode Island, so they were heavily on sneakers as well too. So they kind of gave me that outlet when I got older to invest in a lot of sneakers as well too. So I just remember like back in the day where like you can actually like camp out, get some sneakers, you'd be fine. If you plan correctly, you can get any fucking sneakers you wanted. Now it's just so much fucking chaos.
It's tough. Yeah. It's tough. And I was kind of talking about in the story, like what I noticed was, you know, sneaker culture and blog culture really kind of came on at the same time as far as like explosion of like information on the internet. And like that's where people really started to gravitate towards like as far as getting the information to even know like there's a line going on this day for this shoe, you know? So I think, you know, that was what really helped me try to get into, you know, when sneakers were going to be available and like what was popping, what was popular, what people were really kind of going for. And that it took off. Like 13 years old going on, it just took off. I'm in love with sneakers.
That's crazy. Yeah. So I think right now you're in the beta trial right now, right? So tell us a little bit about the beta trial and
Sure. So like essentially, like I was telling you, I'm a software engineer, so I've been able to see like what, you know, Fortune 500 companies do when they release software or when they release apps or websites. And there's a certain process that you got to go through before you put something in the app store, essentially. So you build an app, which we did, and we want to make sure that there's as least amount of bugs in it as possible. So we are essentially in a test phase where we give it to our what are called early adopters, people that are most interested in Barterr at the very beginning stages, that are okay with things breaking or like the app crashing, giving us that real-time feedback. So we've been doing that for the past, I would say, really since June. June 1st was when we really put out the first like usable part of the app. And now actually we just finished up like the beta testing phase. And now we're looking at finally getting it published to the App Store September 1st. So yeah, so now we've gotten out of that test phase. Now it's to the part where it's like, okay, we put it in the App Store. This is a stable release, and now we're gonna start to market the app essentially.
All right, I'm excited for that as well too. So what have been the biggest challenges, you know, just investing in your own company in general and just trying to get it out there?
I mean, off top, number one is bootstrapping it, like paying out of your pocket to like keep up. You know, that's the first thing. Because I mean, if you don't have investing, or if you don't have, I mean, just any type of institutional backing when you're trying to build a company from scratch, you're gonna go slower than your competitor might be going, or like what, you know, people expect you to be going. You know, so that's probably number one. And then two is just obviously competition. You know, like people, we do have a major competitor. Their name's Trade Block. They're actually out in Houston as well. Really great company. 3 black co-founders of the company. And you know, I learned a lot of game from watching them do what they do, and like kind of realizing like what their users are also unhappy about. That way, I can kind of like tap in and see like what I can do differently to differentiate myself from them. but then also just use that as more feedback to sharpen my iron when it comes to my service.
That's
essentially.
dope. That's
so
dope.
Those are probably my top two most challenging.
All right, cool. And then the last thing I want to, talk about, just want to pick your brain a little bit as well too, because you're one of the few, and I told Peyton about this too. I was like, yo, every other week I want to fucking get a pair of sneakers.
Yo,
and
it's addicting.
You inspired me, and then one of my other friends that inspired me as well too. She's a crazy sneakerhead as well. So we're just gonna stick with Jordans right now, and I'm gonna give you my picks after I hear your picks.
Okay.
But if you had gun points to your hair, you on a motherfucking island.
Okay.
Top 5 J's, what you going with?
Okay, my top 5 J's with a gun to my head. Okay. All right, I'm gonna give it to you off top of the dome because I really feel like this is an important question.
Okay.
But I want to go off what my heart is saying, so I'm gonna just go off top of the dome. So off number 5, I'm gonna go with the Raging Bull Jordan 5. That was actually the first shoe that I stole from my brother that my brother then found out about later. And then I had to ship it back to him. It's a crazy story, but it's true. The 4th, I would definitely have to give the Bread Jordan 1. Like that's a shoe that I feel like no matter what color I got on in my fit, I could just make that work. Like I'm cool with it. The 3rd one I'll give to the Black Cement Jordan 3. It's an easy one to also like fit into the wardrobe. I would say number 2 is another Jordan 1. It's the Union Jordan 1 Blue Toe Los Angeles. Ooh. That was one of like my favorite shoes when it first came out. One of Union Los Angeles, which is a store on La Brea here in Los Angeles, black owned by Chris Gibbs. Great collaboration, great looking shoe. It's just beautiful. It's luxury, so I feel like that's number 2. And then my number 1, man. This is a really hard one, but I've been wearing Jordan 4s a lot lately. Like I've been crushing them. Like I just, whatever shoe or like whatever I got on that day, I feel like I can easily, mix and match with a Jordan 4. So if I had to pick a specific model or a specific release, I would have to go with Union again with the it's an off noir. It's what the release is called, or with the colorway is called, but it's off noir Jordan 4 by Union Los Angeles as well. So those are my top 5.
You got a pretty fire top 5 as well,
man,
too.
I love them.
I can't get too much in depth like you. I'm just gonna name my shit.
It's all good.
I'm just gonna name my shit.
It's all good. It's all good.
So no order.
Okay.
So I guess we can do a little order. So at 5 we have the Jordan 10s OG Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
At 4 we got the Bordeaux 7s.
Okay, wait. I gotta ask you, did he win a championship in the 10?
Oh, you asking the wrong guy.
Oh, okay.
I want to say he did win it. Okay. I want to say he did win it.
I'm supposed to know that one. Oh, okay. All right.
So we got the Jordan at 5. We got the Jordan 10 OG Chicago Bulls. At 4 we got the Bordeaux motherfucking 7s. At 3, we got the Olympic 6s. I remember being in fucking South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, waking up my dad early. I'm like, yo, I saved my money from working at Busch Gardens. Let's go to get this motherfucking shit right now.
Let's go get that W.
And I'm with you too. At 2, we got the cement 3s, the black cement 3s. The white ones were hard too. Timeless. And the Dornbeckers were fucking tough as well too. I like that, but I gotta go with the black ones. And then number 1. This is the first time I actually like waited in line, and for you West Coast people that only been on the West Coast, the East Coast is fucking cold as shit. This is December 23rd, I think 2009. The motherfucking 11 Space Jams.
Yes, okay.
Iconic as well too. I'm just a little sad because I grew up wearing a size 12. Like I thought, like like they say in NBA when you're in your prime, you like from like 26 to like 32 and whatnot. For me, with my shoe prime, I thought I was done.
Oh, that shit just went straight.
It
through
went
the
straight
roof.
from 12 to 13, bro. And I was like, oh my god. So I had to sell all my sneakers. Bro.
That size is tough. Size 13, I always see like on StockX and Go, like the prices on the size 13 is crazy. Because the quantity is so low on release day on the 13s. But I do, before we move on, I do want to give honorable mention to 3 shoes. So you said the 11 Space Jam. For me, it's the Cool Gray 11. The Cool Gray is the one that to me just is so smooth. Like it's tough. And then these are 2 other ones that I really like, but they're women's sneakers, which is why I didn't talk about them before. Okay. But I want to give a shout out to Alma Manier, which is another kind of like black boutique ran by James Whitner. and it's a Jordan 3. So they did like a collaboration shoe, and the story is really really cool behind the shoe. Definitely check that out. So it's I'm on my year Jordan 3, and then there's another one by Aleli May, who's a great person in the sneaker culture right now. She did a Jordan 1 collaboration with Inglewood High School, actually. It's a Jordan 1. That's another tough shoe that I like.
That's fucking dope. That's fucking dope. And then before we get into the hottest topics of today, look at that camera right over motherfucking there.
What up?
Let them know your actual social media.
What
and
up? What up?
Barter's social media as well too.
All right, cool. So y'all can find me on all socials, Twitter and Instagram at Terrence Terrence Whaley WHALEY with an underscore at the end. And then for Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok for Barterr, it's Go GO, and then Barterr BARTERR. And that's it. That's where you can find me.
Definitely in the post edits.
For sure.
So they can know as well too.
Appreciate you, Seezus.
But are you ready to get into the NBA topics? We always be on the side talking about some shit, and I'm ready to actually get into the shit. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So obviously this is the off season, so we got to kind of dig up some shit and see what's good and what's not right now too. So the first thing I want to talk about is the KD saga continuing. So obviously for backstory for the viewers as well too. KD went to the Nets. Kyrie went to the Nets. They thought it was a great idea. Kyrie played 20 to 30 games by himself. KD was, resting and rehabbing from his Achilles and whatnot. After that, the next year, all came together. James Harden came. James Harden wanted to leave. Kyrie wanted to get vaccinated. X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward into this past season, they got knocked out the first round.
Crazy.
Which was crazy. Which was ridiculous. And just after that, we were like, all right, well, you got Ben Simmons, you guys are retooling, you added some good players off of free agency, you guys will be fine as well too. And then once free agency kind of popped off, we just heard from KD that once Kyrie basically didn't get that extension in which he wanted, KD just demanded out. And he listed some destinations he want to go to, but he was like, yo, get me the fuck out of here as well too. So this whole offseason, besides Donovan Mitchell, we've just been trying to figure out where's KD gonna go as well too. So nothing's happened. No movement's been happening, and I don't expect no movement to happen as well too. You got 4 years left in your contract. I'm not letting you go. Your ass is mine. You staying here.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the other day, some news came out, and apparently with Kevin Durant, he's given the Brooklyn Nets an ultimatum, either to choose him or fire Steve Nash, which is the head coach, and the GM Sean Marks as well too. So there's a quote from Shams NBA. Durant stated he does not have faith in the team's direction, sources told the outlet. According to Shams, Durant spoke with Sy, which is the owner, in London this past weekend, with insiders describing the discussion as transparent and professional. And then owner Joe Tsai quoted, "Our front office and coaches staff have my support. We will make decisions in the best interest of the Brooklyn Nets." And, that's kind of how it's rocking right now. So obviously we're in the era of player empowerment. You would think he would have been moved by right now. But like I said, if you have that owner's mentality, you're just going to, not be a pushover, because at the end of the day, they were essentially pushovers as well too, when they're like, yo, Kyrie's not going to play, he's not going to get vaccinated. And then they're like, oh, okay, I see the load that you're carrying, and James Harden wants to go, so Kyrie's going to bring you back as well too. But just tell me your thoughts on the whole KD situation as well too. Tell me your thoughts about it. Should he be traded? Should he stay? What are your thoughts on everything?
Okay. So I do want to start this conversation about how much do you believe the NBA insiders as truth, as coming straight from the Hoopers mouth? That's the first question I got for you first.
So I look at obviously what they tweet, when they tweet it, and who it comes from. So I feel like
we talking about the top, Shams. We talking about Woj, Chris Haynes,
all of them.
Okay.
All of them. So I know with Shams, when something comes from Shams' mouth in regards to the Brooklyn Nets and specific Kyrie Irving, more likely it's true.
Okay. All right. So that's
the top tier guys. I believe what they say as well.
Okay. All right. Cool. So if I'm going off of what his name just. Oh boy, that you
Shams?
said. Yeah, Shams. Yeah. So if I'm going off what Shams said, I believe him, because he's an insider as well, and I do trust his word. But I do think the timing was a little weird, because to be honest, what I thought Kevin's original plan for leaving Golden State was to get it out the mud. That was the very first thing I thought when he left Golden State, because we all know he didn't get out the mud in Golden State. We know that. That's why he left. So I'm thinking, well, to be honest, you still got a great foundation. You know what I'm saying? You still got like a team with, I'm not sure about that cap space situation. I'm not sure like what that is looking like, but you do have, outside of Kyrie, you still have something that you can build towards and like be a leader in, because you want your legacy to be like you won one like the way Bron won in Cleveland in 2016. So if that's me, you just adding on to the rhetoric that you don't want to hustle for it by trying to call for the trade request, especially with 4 years left on your deal. So I'm on the side of like him staying in Brooklyn, because to be honest, like if he didn't like his general manager Sean Marks and Steve Nash, to me he should have just went to the Knicks, because how I look at the Nets, and no disrespect to your Clippers, because I know you fuck with Kawhi, but the Brooklyn Nets are the Clippers in New York. They are. Listen, I went to a game this past year when they played Miami, and I'm telling you, there were Miami Heat fans chanting "Let's go Heat" the whole time. So I'm like, bro, that's Clipper activity. So if I'm KD and you trying to solidify your legacy in a way, like I would have liked to see him go to the Knicks. That's first of all. But if we're just talking about right now, it just seems really weird, like what his purpose and what his direction wants to be in, as far as like where he wants his future to hold. Because when I saw the first couple of reports where it's like, I want to go to the Suns or I want to go to the Celtics, now I want to go play with James Harden, I'm like, well, which is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you really want to do? Because I thought it was beef when they played earlier in the year and Kyrie was strapping James from half court. I was like, oh, it's really beef. This going to be cool. 4 years of this. I want to see that. Yeah. So I want him to stay. But, I mean, really, I don't understand what Steve Nash thing is, because you picked your coach. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. All right, so first and foremost, the Clippers and the Nets are not the same motherfucking organization.
Okay.
Now, if you're talking about where the fans' loyalty lies, obviously it's a Laker nation. That's never going to fucking change. No matter how many motherfucking championships the Clippers win, that's never going to change. Mm-hmm. The Knicks are just the motherfucking Knicks. Like, that's the mecca of basketball over there as well, too. But as far as how organizations are ran,
okay, yeah, I agree with you.
Take out James Dolan races ass. Mm-hmm. The Clippers are a pretty top-tier organization, and they're a destination to bring in marquee free agents and also people that free agents in general as well too. Yeah, in general, Nets. The only reason why the Nets have something going right now is because of KD and Kyrie right now. Because remember when KD and Kyrie came, Blake Griffin want to come, Marcus Aldridge want to come, XYZ want to come and whatnot as well too. I think KD should stay as well too, because I think he's one of those guys who buys into social media. So I feel
100%.
Yeah, so I feel like with the whole, OKC going to Golden State, motherfuckers hated that shit. So I understand guys championships, left, want to do his thing. But I'm just like, you're too great to want to leave, because let's look at the teams we listed already, right? The Celtics went to the championship last year. You can't do no whole shit.
You can't do that.
that you do.
You can't do that
with the Warriors.
The streets will get you out of there. They'll get you out of there.
Then the Suns just went to the championship last year. I mean, they came up short this year as well too. But it's just like they had the best record in the fucking Western Conference as well too. And you already know how Miami is as well too. And I feel like I wouldn't want to go to Miami if I'm KD, because LeBron already kind of had a short stint, legacy there.
And the way their not trajectory, but their careers have aligned, like. It's eerily similar. Like the things Bron has done as far as leaving Miami, changing his number, KD leaving, changing his number. Like their journeys have been similar, almost where you could kind of think KD's a little bit on copy side. So I agree. Like don't go to Miami. Yeah. Because that would just be weird to me. Yeah. As a Bron fan, cause I'm a Bron fan. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. So I'm speaking with a little bias.
We know. Yeah. So in my opinion, I'm just like, just stay, because we view you as a top player, the best player in the NBA. I think right now, I used to be biased and I always say Kawhi one obviously is what I've done for me lately, but right now I'm putting Giannis at number one.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm in Giannis too.
You can argue anybody else that's interchangeable. So KD, top 2, top 3, number 1, you can put him wherever. I feel like if you're a top tier player and you have your Robin with you to go with another supplemental piece, and then role players, you should be fine. And I feel like the Nets owners being stubborn, But he just has to fire Steve Nash. Like, what has Steve Nash done? Like, most of these coaches, they've actually like went from the ground up. Like they've either played or they've literally had like a little internship. Maybe they were like a videographer, like motherfucking Air Exposure, and they've worked their way up as well too. Steve Nash is just a coach. Well, Steve Nash is a player. And then they're like, all right, white privilege, let's make you the motherfucking coach.
Okay.
The only reason why I got hired because Sean Marks is the GM. They're very, very buddy.
Okay.
But I'm just like, the lack of adjustments that Steve Nash made, it was just bad as well too. So I think if you can change, if you can keep Sean Marks, because Sean Marks obviously he was the one that traded for Kevin Durant. I mean, not traded for Kevin Durant. He signed Kevin Durant. He signed Kyrie Irving. He traded for James Harden. He signed Blake Griffin. He signed LaMarcus Aldridge, all these guys as well too, right? He gave Joe Harris the extension as well. So he did all these things, and even in the offseason, you got Ben Simmons. We don't know what to expect out of Ben Simmons. Like, I'm only going to go off of what he's done. I'm assuming he's improved at shooting. I'm hoping.
No.
But if you take away that, he's one of the best defenders in the NBA.
Yes.
And
probably
he generates, as far as like if you go to analytics, statistics, whatever you want to call it, he generates the most open 3-point shots as well too. So you have a point guard right there with Ben Simmons who's 6'10". You have KD, you have Kyrie, and then you sign who they signed? They signed the guy Royce O'Neal.
Oh, Joe got him in a trade. Yeah,
got him in a trade. Joe Harris is coming back. They re-signed Patty Mills. They got.
I didn't see that they re-signed Patty.
Yeah, they re-signed Patty Mills.
Okay.
They re-signed.
I'm still mad at him
as well
for leaving
too.
San Antonio.
Yeah,
but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, they still got Seth Curry. Who
That's
else
what
they got?
I'm
They got T.J. Warren. They have the supplemental role pieces to.
So why he want to leave?
Forward.
It's weird.
I think the real reason why he wants to leave is because Kyrie hasn't got that extension.
Okay, well let me say this though, because we also got to talk about KD's podcast, like on Etc's. Like I seen him. I think there was like a collab episode with him and JJ Redick. I think it's called Old Man and the Three or something like that. They sat down together, and like he was talking about how like early in his career he kind of only cared about basketball and didn't really kind of talk to the GM about like, you know, roster moves and stuff like that.
Because he likes to go to ready-made teams.
And I'm trying to figure out like, okay, well, is that changed now? Like, do you feel like it's more so you care about what the roster looks like? Because from a pure basketball perspective, there's nothing on the court that KD thinks that's lacking, unless you really like just want rim protection, you know, because they don't really have a rim protector. But other than that, I think like it's enough to go hoop and go win. Like the truth is Jason Tatum just like he took it from him. You know what I'm saying? In the first round, you don't think so?
I think he took it from him, but like the X's and O's from a coaching standpoint were bad. Like this dude Steve Nash had 4 guards in with KD at a time. Right. When the average height on the Celtics is like 6'6", 6'7", bro.
Right. Okay. So is it the personnel or is it the coach? X's and O's, because it's not much.
I think last season was a combination of the personnel because the coach had to put them in position, but that's all he had. But like no, then again it's like, yo, Blake Griffin played great. Why did you wait for him to come in game 4 to play the fucking play the game as well too? So I think it was a coaching thing, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But like you said before, KD co-signed Steve Nash coming here as well too.
Exactly. So figure it out with him.
So figure it out with him as well too.
That's where I'm at, because honestly, I've seen way too many times where like coaches, you know, I mean, there's been times coaches have sat in seats a lot longer than they're supposed to. Like Scott Brooks. Scott Brooks is a great example. I feel like he stayed in either Washington entirely too long. Who else? Budenholzer.
Yeah.
Until obviously they got this chip. I think if he didn't get that chip, he was gonna be out.
Oh yeah.
But and then the coach in Utah, like he finally stepped away. It's like there have been coaches that have lost and have stayed in the first round or second round, and you know they get time to figure it out. And I feel like Steve Nash, like he only been in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like at least. You sign a contract, you want that coach, at least ride him out until like at least year 3 of your contract before trying to, you know what I mean? Because who's out there right now that you really think, like, other than Mark Jackson?
Exactly, I was gonna say
because
Mark Jackson too.
It seemed like Mark Jackson be in the interview room. Okay, that's cool. But I don't think he want to leave Golden State until he like really gets an actual head coaching job.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, okay, if it's Mark Jackson, cool. That'd be a great as far as like giving them some character, because you know Mark Jackson don't play. You know, I'd love that, but other than that, it's like, you know, the player coach dynamic has been working in the league. This is kind of goes into another topic we're gonna talk about. But like Ime Udoka's doing well. Great. You know what I mean?
All
you
got
Ty Lue. You know what I mean? One obviously his first year with Bron, but like he's great for the Clippers. So you got that player coach thing going. I just think they just got to give it some time.
Yeah, and then also too, just to kind of end this as well too, I feel like Rudy Gobert just set the bar too high with trade. I think they gave up like 4 or 5 like first round picks as well too.
That's robbery. That's robbery.
That's robbery. And KD's 33, about to be 34 years old.
Yeah,
and it's just like with the teams that you demand to go to, you know you're gonna have to gut the roster. So why would you go there and put even more wear and tear on your body when you don't have those pieces that I was telling you about?
Yeah, and I just want to say this one quick thing before we switch. I'm so surprised Phoenix was like, we not talking about Devin Booker. I was like, you not? Like, you don't want to chip? To be honest.
But CP,
okay. He's still hooping, though.
But I would want the young core. I want KD with Ayton and Booker, or at least Booker's untouchable. You need someone to ride with KD.
I don't know. If the other side of the trade is Kevin Durant, I would have took that, to be honest. If I was James Jones, I'd have took that.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll continue to monitor this KD situation as well, too. Going into my next topic, what do you think is more likely to happen? Do you see the Brooklyn Big Three and Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving staying together for the entirety of this upcoming season, or the revamped Lakers with Ham making the playoffs?
So I think it's this might be a laughable answer, but I think it's Darvin Ham and the Lakers. Like I think Kyrie is out of there. It's just more so about at some point like who is going to fold first. I feel like I just think that Kyrie's out of there. But I think Darvin Ham, from everything I've seen so far and how Milwaukee looked on defense, and we'll see what the Lakers do, because I know that they really want to find like an actual stretch five, because I know Darvin Ham, he obviously had Brook Lopez in Milwaukee, so he probably wants that stretch five in the offense as well. We'll see, but I like I said before, I think the player coach dynamic is so working. It's so trendy in the league, but it's also just like they seem to be giving the reins when they come into an organization. I know the Lakers from a historical have not given a lot of leeway to the coach, but I think you give Bron off the fact that he missed the playoffs last year. You got AD saying, I cannot get. He's gonna get injured, but I mean, we're gonna see if he can play 60 games. But I think if you match those three dynamics up, the way the Nets are doing right now, I think it's a dumpster fire in Brooklyn. I really do.
I think the owner for the Nets side, whatever his name is, I think he's on this like dictator type shit. He's like, you ain't gonna bitch me, so we're gonna keep it the way it is. Kyrie, you got 1 year left regardless. I don't care if I lose you for nothing. Because the best time to trade him would be right now, to be real with you. You don't want to lose
Kyrie?
You don't want to lose him for nothing. Because what free agent are you going to attract there when there's been a shithole over there as well, too?
Right.
Ben Simmons in a new environment. KD, like I said, I don't see – KD doesn't strike me as a guy who loves hoops so much, knowing that he's at this advanced age. He's not like Kawhi when he was like 26 years old, when he sat out that 1 year with the San Antonio, or even AD before he got to the Lakers, or even Ben Simmons right now. KD's about to be 34 years old. You're not going to waste a year like that. So I think I feel like if he doesn't get traded, he's just going to soup and motherfucking play right now.
Oh, honey.
The only reason why Kyrie didn't play last year was just because of the vaccine mandate. You take that out, you take his injuries out from the past, he's readily available. Ben Simmons, obviously, this is something, I think it's something deeper beyond the surface level as far as management goes, and why he didn't want to play as well, too. So I have them actually, to play devil's advocate, sticking together over the Lakers making the playoffs. Because I got this shit pulled up right now. Phoenix is not going anywhere. That's one team. We're gonna name some playoff teams. That's one team over the Lakers. Memphis is a second team. Golden State's another team, that's 3. Clippers are another team, that's 4. You got the Nuggets with MPJ and Jamal Murray coming back, that's 5. Minnesota made some noise. They got Rudy Gobert, that's 6 right there. Pelicans got Zion back. They made the playoffs last year without him. That's 7 right there. Dame, we'll see what happens. So, I mean,
you know what team is missing, though, from your list?
Who's missing?
The Jazz.
And also the Mavericks, too.
So, somebody, okay. But the team that is usually in the playoffs that's not going to be there is the Jazz.
So, there's one team left, essentially, and that's for the Lakers. And obviously, you got the whole playing situation as well, too. going off what you said AD is going to get hurt. Like how much do you trust AD to play at least 65 games?
I trust it because now this season is now or never. Like I feel like
every season is now or never with him.
Well, I think this one is more so like we're really gonna write you off as injury riddled if you don't like change your low top Kobe's.
Might get traded type shit.
Like if you don't change your low top Kobe's right now, AD, if you were for some reason like watching this podcast or listening, bro, you gotta switch out them Kobe's, dog. You really do. So yeah, I think he gonna play 60 plus this year.
And then you got LeBron about to be what, 38?
He gonna be 37, I think, actually.
He might be 38, boy.
I mean, look, all I've known is Bron to not do the same thing twice. Well, that's not true because he went to the finals 8 times. But like, I'm talking about like if he saw something bad happen last year, he is going to make sure that it's the rights are or the wrongs are righted in the next season. So I feel confident in that more so than I feel confident that Kyrie ain't gonna find a reason not to get out of Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Because he gonna find his way.
And then you trust Russell Westbrook to.
I don't trust Russell to do nothing.
The fact that you don't trust Russell to do nothing, that's
we just
need
him to rebound and screen. We don't need him to shoot at all. We don't need him to shoot. We just need him to rebound, screen, and push the pace. Because when you're a third option on the team, you're not getting more than 18 points a game because you're not shooting more than 10, 11 times in a game. He might get to 20 if he at the free throw line, but we already know he don't be shooting well from the free throw line. So it's like we don't want him to shoot. Well. I think, and this gonna
knock down corner threes.
We gonna see what Darvin Ham does with his position on the floor, but like I really don't think all that being at the mid post and shooting that mid range off the glass, that shit ain't happening no more. I don't think that's happening no more.
Well, we're gonna see what's up with that. I think Russell Westbrook definitely needs to look at some footage with D Wade back in the Miami era and definitely try to change his game up a little bit as well too. But
Russ, oh man, we gonna see, man. I know he got it in him. He is at that part in his career is exactly like with D Wade where he had to change his game a little bit to like do what he needed to do on the basketball floor.
Yeah, we gonna see. Next topic as well too. We got Bill Russell, the OG. R.I.P. He actually passed away on my birthday, so that's ever we're gonna forever kind of be linked as well too. But he wore the number 6 and is gonna be retired across the NBA following his death last month as well too. So the NBA will honor the legacy of Boston Celtics legend Bill Russell by retiring his number 6 jersey for all 30 teams. Apparently, LeBron James got grandfathered in so he can keep his number 6 as well too.
Really? What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I didn't see that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Shams tweeted that.
Crazy powerful.
So the league and the National Basketball Players Association announced this this past Thursday. So Russell is going to become the first player in NBA history to have his jersey retired league-wide. Additionally, all NBA players will wear a commemorative patch on the right shoulder of their jerseys during the 2022-23 season, and every court will display a shamrock-shaped logo with Russell's number 6 on the sideline near the scorer's table as well. So now obviously we know Bill Russell, 12-time All-Star, 11-time NBA champ, 5-time MVP, 4-time rebound champ, 11-time All-NBA, 1962 during racism, 1962-63 All-Star MVP. He had to fend off motherfuckers leaving the fucking arena every night, and much more. And obviously we know he pioneered for civil rights activism as well too, and he was just dominant on the court as well too. But what are your thoughts on just Bill Russell in general, and just a retirement of a jersey number league wide?
I think it's the right respectful thing to do for a legend. I've been seeing him on TV at the end of the season hosting that Finals MVP trophy from like the moment I started watching NBA basketball. Which was really in 2009 when the Spurs swept Bron 4-0. That was the first time I really saw Bill Russell on TV. But I think too. I saw a story or somebody said it I think on ESPN where like he was obviously the best player on the Celtics and he couldn't even get a home in the city. I just thought like coming from that and still being able to suit up for the Celtics. Bring them what you said, 11-time NBA champion. Like that's crazy. It's consistent greatness over and over and over. And we know we always got the people that say the NBA back in the 60s or whatever like was playing against plumbers and all of that. But you still gotta respect the fact he got 11 on the board. And
you can only play what's in front of you.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, just like, we say Kyrie can dribble and Steph can dribble, like you only can play what's in front of you. And what the game was like at that time, he was dominant. So I think it's the right thing for the league to do. I will say this though, I would have loved to see them retired.
Michael Jordan.
I mean Mike, but I was gonna say Kobe.
Because there'd be some motherfuckers that wear number 23 like TJ Warren on the Pacers. Like, yo, why you got to?
Nah. Yeah, you really selfish if you picking 23 and you not cold. Like 82 games of the season cold. Because if you not and you inconsistent, you shouldn't be wearing that number. Yeah. But I'll say 24 would have been cool, or 8 would have been cool for them to retire that. But I think Bill Russell, if anybody in the league in history should get it, it should have been him for sure.
Yeah, I agree as well too. At first, I was kind of on the fence about it, but given his dominance on the court and then what he stood for off the court, it just makes the perfect sense for it to get retired across the league.
And shout out to Adam Silver, man. I remember
very progressive.
I remember like just watching Stern. David Stern.
Yeah.
Like I remember watching David Stern. Like the first thing that I started to see like in the NBA, like when how much the power the commissioner had was like when they changed the dress code. Like with Allen Iverson, like always coming in looking a certain way, or like having the velvet sweatsuits on, like, and him changing that. Like they looked at David Stern as an enforcer, but when people see Adam Silver, they see him as more like as progressive and more so like more collaborative with the players, and I like that because you can see it in the league.
Yeah, like can you just imagine, like from a coach's standpoint, it wasn't. We had to wait for a global pandemic to happen. Mm-hmm. Picture being in a gymnasium and you're a coach and you're wearing a fucking suit. Shit. I'm like, yo,
man.
What?
Yeah, man.
That's actually fucking nuts.
He's taking the game places too, and I know he don't get his flowers a lot, but I definitely want to get him his flowers.
For sure. Next topic I have for you, we got a couple more left here. Which team do you think made the biggest off-season moves going into this upcoming 2022-2023 season?
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, honestly, like it ain't really been too much splash, you know what I'm saying? But I will say, like Boston, they cured their point guard problem because although obviously Marcus Smart won Defensive Player of the Year this year, but like he is very wishy-washy. Like sometimes he'll hit that corner three, or he'll hit that like pull-up jumper that he's not even really supposed to hit, but he hits it. But when Malcolm Brogdon is open, like it's cash, or like, and he gonna also lock up on the other end. So I feel like that was the perfect signing for them. I'll give the Hawks and I'll give the Portland Trail Blazers 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. So I think Devontae Murray sliding in at the I guess he'll play 2, maybe 1. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Probably like some CJ and Dame type of backcourt situation.
Yeah. We gonna see what they do, but I like that signing because ultimately I just wanted to see them do something different because I feel like the Hawks, they were kind of getting predictable too. With their lineup, so I think Devontae gonna come in there and kind of bring something. And he been acting up in these pro-am games. So I'm really going to see if he's going to bring that to the NBA games too, to kind of try to give them that next level stuff. And then I would say the Portland Trail Blazers when it comes to what's the old boy name?
Dame?
No. Jeremy Grant.
Oh, Jeremy Grant.
They traded for Jeremy Grant.
They got OG and Anunoby too, right?
Yeah, so like they beefed up as far as having their wings because they needed help with that. They've been small for forever. So the question is Yusuf gonna play 60 games? You know what I'm saying? Because he always down. So we'll see what they can do. I really want to see Dame in the playoffs and go past the first round, man. He's special, but he need help. So we're gonna see what they can do.
Yeah, he's in purgatory right now, so he's
he don't want to leave. He want that Kobe love, but he gonna have to win.
Exactly. So, Kobe won 5 times.
Exactly.
5.
But they'll love him forever if he win 1 in Portland, though.
But I feel like they're gonna love forever. But if there's another like guy 20 years from now that comes to win a chip, we can replace him real quick.
You think so? But yes. What if he's the franchise leading scorer and all that? Because I feel like that's what's gonna happen.
That might be a thing. That might be a thing. But right now, yeah, I guess so. When you think of Miami, you think of Wade or Bron? Wade County?
Wade, yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll be forgetting sometimes I'll be forgetting he went, because I mean that championship in 2016 was so memorable that you almost forget what he did prior to that.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. No, that's true. Okay. I can see that as well too. For me, I was going to say the Boston Celtics as well too, because they add him Malcolm Brogdon. They also got Gallinari as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Players are going to be a little bit wiser. You also have a coach that's been to the finals, so he knows what to execute from an X and O standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But I still believe if Chris Middleton didn't get hurt, then we're not talking about the Boston Celtics like how we are right now as well too. So I'm going to go with the Clippers. They essentially made new moves because PG and Kawhi are basically out the whole season, so you're getting 2 new players back.
Mm-hmm.
And then midseason they traded for Powell, Covington, and whatnot. But more importantly, they've always needed a point guard. They got Rondo a little bit too late last year.
Mm-hmm.
They got John Wall, who obviously has an injury history, but if you kind of take away Chris Paul and all these other guys, like during our time, like in high school and whatnot, like in a little bit of college, like John Wall was one of the point guards as well too.
Right.
So you put him in a system, you force him not to be the number one option anymore, and actually just facilitate, push the pace, dominate on the matchup, and then from a defensive standpoint, PG and Kawhi gonna be locking up the top dogs, and I think they're gonna work wonders as well too. So that would be my biggest offseason move, that John Wall free agency signing to the Clippers.
Okay, so but do you prefer John Wall, 2022 John Wall over Reggie Jackson?
So I mean, Reggie Jackson's a scorer,
right,
and that's it right now. But as far as facilitating, if you have all those weapons in which I listed, Luke Kennard, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Robert Covington, Norman Powell, Zubac, Marcus Morris Sr., Terrence Mann, the list goes on and on. Like, I'm cool with that because Reggie Jackson, he did great. Don't get me wrong. I love Reggie Jackson.
I thought so too. He held it down.
But now we just need that person to get these other players those easy looks, and I feel like Reggie Jackson can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going with right now. So our next topic for you as well, too, almost done right here. Going into the season, who do you think is the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics?
The biggest threat to the Boston Celtics, I mean, I'm going to always default towards the best player in the league, so I'm going to go with Milwaukee and Giannis.
So LeBron's not the best player in the league to you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Yeah, I'll call it like I see it, man. Okay. Giannis is a problem. He's dominant. You know, he is our version of Shaq, to be honest, in today's NBA for me.
Thanks.
So I would go with Milwaukee. I'm interested, though, to see if they're going to make any roster updates or if they feel like they need to make any roster updates.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's still some free agents out there like Blake Griffin, DeMarcus Cousins, whatnot. So they could see how they're playing from now until before All-Star break and kind of make their splash if they want to.
Because I don't know. I don't know, and this might be disrespectful, but I think I'm good on Jrue Holiday, man.
Like he's not good?
No. Not that he's not good, but I'm just saying like that maybe they need a different look.
They just won a championship with Jrue Holiday.
No, they did. They did.
But they literally won 7 games with the Celtics, but Middleton didn't play the whole series.
Right. Okay, but let me ask you this though.
Okay.
Do you think that they can do better than Jrue Holiday in the East?
I mean, I'm thinking from a logistical standpoint. Who are you trading to get better? Like, who are you trading Jrue Holiday away for?
To get a point guard back, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I mean, let me ask you this: would you trade Kyrie for Kyrie Irving?
If I knew Kyrie was going to play the whole season and re-sign with me, even though he's on his expiring contract.
Let's just say it's a Kawhi Leonard situation in Toronto.
Nah, I'm keeping Jrue Holiday.
Okay.
I'm not trading. You better give me some draft picks, but even then, like, what do draft picks, like, what are they actually going to amount to? And they're going to be a top-tier team, so they're going to have, a late pick, so you got to have to hope that player pans out and they're readily available to win now. And Giannis is getting older. Their core is getting older. I'm keeping Jrue Holiday.
Okay.
Yeah. Literally just missing the closer. That's literally it.
Okay.
They won 7 games.
I got you.
Yeah, but you're right. I don't even have to comment on that. I think that's the biggest threat to the Celtics right now because I don't know what to expect out of James Harden going into this upcoming season. My next question for you right now is, who is the biggest threat to the Warriors going into this new season?
The biggest threat to the Warriors, honestly, I would go with Memphis.
Ooh.
I feel like there's not a rivalry or nothing yet, but I feel like Memphis is right on the cusp of just like like being that team that's just, drafted, gritty. They got an identity, and they got a player that's just not scared of anything. Now, obviously, I'm not necessarily sure like what their shot profile looks like, but I know that they shoot. I'm not sure how many threes they shoot, but like obviously to keep up with Golden State, you're gonna have to get some threes off. But I do like I like their core, and I feel like their young ability and what they went through last year and how they lost to them. I think that they'll take that in revenge and then come back, and try to attack what Golden State has. I mean, obviously you got the easy answers out there like Phoenix and who not Utah, but who's the other? Oh, I mean, but Denver ain't scaring nobody, to be honest, bro. I'm not scared of Denver. Denver got to be healthy, man. They got to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? But I would go with Memphis.
Okay.
But I also this isn't a question, but like I really want to see what Golden State is going to do with the draft picks that they got while Clay was down and Steph was down. Like at some point you're gonna have to pay Jonathan Kuminga, you're gonna have to pay James Wiseman, and what are you going to do with Draymond in the meantime while he asking for 4-year max deal? Like I want to see what they're gonna do with that situation too.
So I think they're eventually gonna get rid of Wiggins and they're gonna try to make that money and whatnot. And I think when Clay is off of his contract, he's gonna kind of take. They're basically just gonna have to kind of take a pay cut, or you're just gonna have to get traded as well too. They already established themselves as a dynasty. They're up there with the like obviously like the Celtics and Lakers are in their own stratosphere, but like they're right there with other like top tier teams that generate a lot of revenue as well too.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. But you already know I'm biased again. I'm gonna go with the Clippers as well too.
Yeah.
What did Grant Williams say in the podcast with? I don't even remember who he was in the podcast with, but he basically said that we didn't win because we weren't experienced enough. And I think the Clippers. I mean, they got to the conference finals. You have a championship caliber coach. You have a Finals MVP in Kawhi Leonard. You have a great one being Paul George. And the thing about the Clippers is they have a lot of depth as well too, and they're all two-way players as well too. Because if you look at it, if the Celtics didn't fucking turn the ball over, they could have easily have been up 3-1 when they went into Game 4, and the rest is history as well too. I just feel like with a veteran-led team, with that much depth and a great coach. Especially with those two wings, I just think they're going to cause havoc as well, too, because the Golden State Warriors have had some easy paths, not winning the chip in the finals, but getting to the chip as well, too. So I think that would be their biggest threat.
Okay, so you not worried about Paul George at all?
What am I? No. I mean, obviously he didn't play last year. He caught COVID during the playing and whatnot, but I feel like the pandemic P narrative is gone now. He did his thing the year before.
Okay.
Why wouldn't he? Why would he go back? Why would he go backwards?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that answer. We will see how he performs.
Okay. Almost done here. We don't got that much time left as well too. My next topic for you as well too. This is kind of old, but I just want to hear your opinion. So obviously, Jalen Brunson was a new signee for the New York Knicks as well too.
Yeah.
So Jalen Brunson and his teammates, his veteran teammates, Julius Randle, Obi Toppin, they showed to the New York Amateur Pro AM, and you have 3 starters going up against amateurs. They all dropped an average of about 22 points. And they still lost to amateurs by double digits. Is it a disgrace to lose with 3 NBA players versus amateurs?
No, and I'm not exactly sure if like, because I think some of them do play overseas as professionals.
Yeah.
So like at the end of the day, like Brown went to the Drew League and it was him and DeMar and they only won by 2. So I mean, to be honest, like I think that they all out there hooping, like they all trying to get they trying to get their opportunity too. And I just think there are certain players like that don't have the mindset of Kobe Bryant, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, LeBron James when they step in the gym. You know what I'm saying? And like as great as Jalen Brunson's contract looks this summer, like I never look at him as like, a tier 1 or a tier 2 point guard. So like you now looking at the rest of the like Obi Toppin and Julius Randle, like I don't really look at that as like cream of the crop of the league. So for them to lose by double digits is bad.
Yeah, the double digits aspect is bad.
But I don't really see it like, like none of like I don't look at Julius Randle as like a bucket getter. Even though I know he had that great season,
all-star and crazy contract.
Yeah, I know, but I still don't look at him as like, oh, go get it done. Like I don't look at him like that, and I don't look at Jalen Brunson like that either. So I just in a setting where you're supposed to win, I can understand those particular players losing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. I just feel like if you're in the top less than 1%
of the world,
of the world,
yeah. You're
making that much money, and there's only a little over 300 NBA players in the world going up against Drew League or whatever league you want to talk about. Y'all niggas lose by double digits. It's like, yo, come on, son.
Yeah.
And I live in New York, and I'm a fan. I'm supposed to buy season tickets for this bullshit.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Like, come on, son. But at the end of the day, I'm just kind of poking fun or poking the bear with that. Like, it's 5 players on the court at one time as well too. So it's a team sport, but at the same time, I don't think he's supposed to lose by double digits when you have 3 NBA players. Like, if I'm going to play open gym with 2 niggas that play D1 with some random niggas, I do not ever expect to lose the game at all.
Yeah, no, true.
But like you said, LeBron and DeMar DeRozan, I mean,
on the same team. It was on the same team, and it went down to the last shot. So and I mean, there was some famous footage of Kobe Bryant in the Drew League too, and he hit that shot over James Harden. Like, they be playing hard.
They be playing hard.
Playing hard. Yeah. So
it's crazy, and we got 2 more right here. So Golden State is gonna open up the 2022-2023 NBA season playing against the Lakers as well too. Opening night. It seems like it's always, and obviously the Golden State Warriors are gonna get the championship ring and whatnot. But it feels like even though the Lakers aren't where they want to be, they're just so popular that they're always gonna be on motherfucking TV as well too.
Yep.
Do you like that as the opening act as well? And then also, there's always 2 games that go on. Who would you like to see besides those 2 teams listed for that first matchup? Who do you want to see on opening night with 2 teams?
Cool, yeah. So I love it. I love Steph and Bron going up against each other. It's always fun. But as far as like who else I'd want to see, I love watching Ja Morant play because he just brings energy. And then I also like Luka. Luka's one of those players that even when you're watching the TV, like even when you're not at the stadium or at the arena, like you can see Luka's playing with energy and playing with like that. Like, I'm not scared of you. I'm going at you. I'm talking shit the whole 48 minutes. Like, I like that. So I want to see Ja on opening night just because I feel like he's got that like that Allen Iverson like feel to him and that personality. And then Luka for sure.
Winston. Now for me, I got to go with chaos. I got to see KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons, who hasn't played suit up. That's getting all the attention right there.
Yeah.
And then Kawhi hasn't played in a long time. And then you got Ja Wall, who hasn't played in 2 years. I think that would be a nice little duke it out battle and some narratives being created right there. So I would definitely love to see the Clippers going up against the Nets right there as well, too. And then my last question I got before we end something as well, too. So I was just on, social media the other day, and I saw a lot of players that I grew up admiring. And I just want to ask you, out of these 4 players I listed, obviously all of them were injury riddled. If you had to, I guess, start a franchise with one of them, who would you choose? So we got T-Mac, we got Penny Hardaway, we got D Rose, and we got Brandon Roy. Who you got?
Okay, so off top, like, I want to give all respect to Brandon Roy because he had an amazing career, or not. I mean, it was cut short. Like, that one was one that I loved watching Brandon Roy play. But my answer is Derrick Rose, man. Like, I feel like, so I started watching college basketball like in 2009.
Damn.
I believe, and that was the year he was at Memphis, and like that was the year all the 4 number ones went to the Final Four, like in the same year, and that never happened before. And Derrick Rose was the best player on the floor in like all the games, and like I just fell in love with his game, and I feel like he obviously looked like that early years in Chicago, but it was just so exciting watching him play and like be the best player on the floor, and like being so good that LeBron had to guard him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was so cool, and I feel like that was cut short by those injuries. And, I mean, T-Mac, all the names you listed. Penny was good, too, obviously. But Derrick Rose, I feel like, was the player that could have been MVP year after year after year that got cut short.
And I forgot to add Grant Hill as well, too. But I feel like that wouldn't kind of change your mind as well, too.
Yeah.
But I would have to agree with you as well. I feel like Brandon Roy at his peak would kind of be like a Devin Booker-esque type of player.
Okay.
Penny was great as well too. Obviously, his first, second year, they went to the finals with Shaq as well. So that would have kind of been nice to see. T-Mac, you know, I had his shoes and all that as well too. Even with his healthy years, never got out of first round. Not taking that away from him. It takes good coaching and good personnel and the top tier pieces that he kind of had with him as well too. They were always hurt, like Yao Ming, X, Y, and Z, and whatnot. So I'll go with D Rose as well too. Like you said, number one, homegrown, Chicago, youngest MVP as well too. Arguably the most athletic point guard that we had seen as well too, and he played with just so much poise as well too. So
and balance.
To see him take, like you said, Bron, that top dog, that top team, to the top, you just want to see what it would have looked like right now as well too. And obviously, as you get older, your athleticism deteriorates, but now it's more so a mental game. And just to see a small portion of him adapt and be more efficient, it would have been nice to see what he would have been right now as well too. And I think he eventually would have had either left to go to a better team or have brought in some free agents to kind of play with him as well too. So I think he would have definitely had one ring, at least by right now too.
For sure.
So that's all we got right now for episode 117. Do you have any closing words, Terrence?
Man, I just want to say, you know, thanks, Seezus. Thank you for bringing bringing me on as a guest. Peyton, man, thank you for setting up the studio, man. You did a great job.
Go.
I just want to say, you know, I know that y'all gonna do great things, man. Keep working at it. Keep y'all's work ethic strong. And you know, stay blessed. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, invest into Barterr.
Facts. Y'all know any investors, man? Hey, holla at me. Hit me in the DMs, man. You know, I'm always, you know, willing to talk and talk about the future.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 117 of the Seezus Show, season 2. Make sure to subscribe on all forms of social media at the Seezus Show, at Sir Seezus, and we are out.
Peace.